Welcome back to the EAM Crypto channel. My name is Enrique, and this is episode number 19 of the weekly recap slash upcoming weekly preview. I know I never came up with a good name for this show, but that's fine. We don't need a good name. We just need good content. So look, guys, I hope you like that intro. I put that intro in there that I just kind of edited in a little bit of time. I know it's not very professional because I wanted to bring up the fact that right now is a really important time. When those that are new to crypto right now are thinking, oh, this was a bad idea, let me just get my money out, it's probably going to go to zero. And guys like me that have been around crypto for a long time, this is actually the time to start DCAing a little bit. So do I think that the bottom has been hit? I'm not sure. Technicals imply that it hasn't. Doesn't mean yes or no. But I do think that long term, if we kind of keep the end in mind and think about the next bull run, this is the time to start accumulating. So I started accumulating last week, a couple of ETH. I'm at like 1,500 near that I accumulated via some of my trades, where I put a percentage of the profits from my trades into accumulating those two assets, and I want to accumulate more and more during this time. So I don't know if this bear market's going to last another 3 months, 6 months. I don't know if the bottom's going to be 14K, 12K, if the bottom already hit, but I think we're a lot closer to bottom than top. So I'm starting to accumulate some. How many near I want to get to? I want to get to at least 5,000, and then I'll kind of like not allocate so many into my near, but I want at least 5,000 near and probably get to 10,000 before the bear market's over. And for Ethereum, haven't decided how many I want, but I think assets like near are going to outperform Ethereum in the next bull run. So anyways, I just want to make sure that I do talk about the fact that even though things are still pretty rough, the macro is still brutal. I mean, the macro literally cannot be worse. If we're thinking end in mind, next bull run, I am starting to accumulate a little bit, not going crazy, but a little bit. So a couple things that I wanted to cover. I put Elon Musk on the thumbnail because the news about him getting that much closer to taking over Twitter is pretty exciting for everyone in crypto. I know that a lot of people in crypto are pissed off at him. His tweets were moving markets and changing things around. But at the end of the day, I think this would be good for crypto. And as we're seeing more and more things happen straight across the board, like, some of the old guard and guys like, the douchebag himself, Gary Gensler, keep trying to come after crypto, it's important to have guys on our side that get it, right? And, no one doubts whether Elon Musk is a smart guy or not. And the fact that he's really on our side is a good thing. Now, Gary Gensler coming after Kim Kardashian, I know I already talked about it this week, but this was a really, really big deal. It's almost like he assumed coming after her that all of these assets are securities, which is still up in the air. They still haven't won or lost against Ripple. And the fact that she paid the 1.2 million is like a very kind of like sexy headline, right? It's going to get a lot of people to look at that and go, up. You see, that's another black mark against crypto. But look, she didn't say that she did anything wrong. She just paid the fine because she's a billionaire, and $1.26 million is nothing to her. But at the end of the day, she cannot say anything about assets. She agreed not to promote crypto for 3 years, which is pretty crazy. And then she did put on when she promoted this, she did state that she got paid for it. She just didn't put how much, and she didn't designate that she was paid in a native token versus, or stable or something like that. So all those things are important. So that is something for all creators or YouTube creators or Twitter creators to keep in mind. Like when I first started my YouTube channel, I had no idea that you had to disclose so much stuff. So in my first videos where I promoted a token or a project or talked about one, if I got paid, I didn't know exactly all the rules. So it's good to know all this and follow it closely because I don't want the SEC coming after me. And I just hope that all YouTubers kind of follow this because it could really blow up in their faces if they don't understand all the different legal ramifications of promoting a token or crypto project. So now that we covered those two things, I think that's about it. I did want to cover quite a bit as far as the charts. There's a lot to talk about there. And so yeah, let's get into it. All right, before we get started, a huge thank you to our partner and sponsor, Swapsicle. Go check out Swapsicle, fantastic place for your swapping and farming needs. They are less expensive than most of the dexes out there, and these guys are fully doxed. They have a full legal team, and they are consistently building. I think they're going to be around for a very, very, very long time. So go check out Swapsicle. All the links are below. And if you're looking to short crypto or leverage trade, can't do that on Swapsicle, but you can do that on Bitget. So check out the link below. It's my affiliate link, and it helps the channel out tremendously if you use that. And you will get a ton of different rewards. It changes every week. You can DM me or email me about it. I can tell you what the latest rewards are, but if you click on the link, that will make it worth your time to go check out Bitget. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So much to cover. Yeah, so I'm going to start off actually today's episode with Elrond, because we talked about Elrond a little bit in regards to their conference coming up. I think it starts November 1st. They had some very bullish news, and I think it was at $55.13 when I first brought it up on my channel, despite the fact that Bitcoin has had, kind of a rough go about it, because I think when I first talked about it, Bitcoin was up here somewhere, and here we are down here, and yet Elrond has gone up. So the bullish news, the conference coming up, those things matter. They just do. So when you're doing some short-term trades, that's something to check out. But if you look at the MACD, it looks like the negative momentum did not go very far. I mean, that is definitely looking pretty bullish. RSI is headed up. It's in the bull's control. So yeah, all things are looking pretty good for Elrond still. So I do have an open position. I opened it up that day that I did the video at 55.13. That's why I remember the price on it. And I think I'm going to hold on to Elrond until the conference starts. And then maybe sometime right after the conference starts, that's probably when I expect to see the momentum start to drop and the price action to follow. So Elrond, not surprising, and completely outperforming Bitcoin ever since we first talked about it on the video. The other chart I wanted to look at that I said was looking pretty bullish is XRP. Still looking very, very good. Not even close to overbought on the daily. Let's see if on the 4-hour it's overbought. I'm going to guess it is. No, it's not. It's getting close. So XRP is another one that's looking so bullish. 58 cents to maybe higher looks almost like the most possible scenario, but we will see. If Bitcoin takes some more dumps, then that will mess that up as well. But Bitcoin looking very promising. And XLM, we've talked about this on the channel many times. I don't know what it is, but when XRP does well, XLM does well. It's just a weird thing, and it looks like it could be headed for a lot more. It really can. Just looking at this right here, I mean, it could go all the way up to 13, almost 14 cents, no problem. No problem. And if we were to zoom out, I was kind of looking at it before the video. I mean, if we were to zoom out, it would not surprise me at all to see this asset go even higher. A 15.4 cents is very much in the realm of possibilities for this asset right now, which is just crazy to say that considering how things are in the macro. So you do have to be very careful with any, fresh new sneaker longs here with any asset, regardless of whether it's crypto or one of the traditional markets. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for XLM. So yeah, when a few of these alts look so good, it makes you wonder maybe Bitcoin is going to have a green week ahead. We do have CPI coming out on Thursday. So maybe, just maybe, Bitcoin will perform very well, maybe leading up for the first, maybe the first couple days of the week. And then people are going to start getting a little scared of what's going to happen on Thursday. Maybe Wednesday will be a red day. But yeah, things looking pretty bullish. But do keep in mind, CME futures did close at 19,460. So right now, Bitcoin is about what, 80 points, 77 to be exact, ahead of that. So you got to figure that we'll be around this range. No, 1460. My math is way off, right? No, I think I'm right. Yeah, about 77. So you got to figure that Bitcoin's probably going to, get closer to 19,460, and at some point when the futures open this evening, we will touch at that, and that might make alts go down a little bit, but not too much. I mean, it's only 77 points for an asset that's almost 20K. So yeah, so Ethereum, I thought was going to go and test a couple of these resistance lines. I thought I was going to test it a couple days ago. So I thought it was going to test this line right here at 1421 a couple days ago, and it didn't. It couldn't even do it. But before that, I thought I was going to test this trend line. There we go. That I charted, I don't know how long ago. And it tried right here. As you can see, it tried to get to it and was too weak to get to it. And so now it's going to, eventually try to hit that trend line again. This time it's going to be much lower. I thought it was going to hit it up here on 1400. So yeah, I mean, Ethereum's just again showing weakness in a number of different ways due to the fact that it couldn't even reach that support line or that trend line. But on the daily, the negative momentum is starting to little by little. Negative momentum is starting to dissipate, and on the 4 hour, it's also looking like it's trying to create or get closer to positive momentum, right? So, in my opinion, I think Ethereum's looking pretty decent short term, but long term, again, if we look at any kind of long time frame, even on the daily, looks good. I meant to click the weekly, but when you start looking at maybe like the weekly or of course the monthly, it's just looking awful, right? So we look at the monthly, look at the MACD on it. That is not good. So. What that tells me is that most likely bear market's not even close to over, but it's impossible to know for sure if we found a bottom or not. So, but the technical indicators as we zoom out, whether we do that with Ethereum or we do that with Bitcoin, let's go look at the 1 month with Bitcoin. The negative momentum is starting to wane there. But one thing that I did talk about earlier in the week is if you look at the RSI. Okay, so this is the trend line I drew. We did cross the trend line. So hopefully that's an indicator that we are closer to bottom than not. The fact that we were able to finally cross this trend line on the RSI that basically started on, March 1st of 2021. Wow, March. So, I mean, so it means something. Does it mean that we found a bottom? No. But it does mean something. It's one of those indicators that you want to look for, telling you that maybe we're closer to the bottom than we're not. So very, very nice to see that right there. But then when you see this right here, this is not great, guys. So yeah, it's just tough to get bullish at all. But like I stated earlier, I do think it's time to start DCAing a little bit. I mean, I just do. If you want to keep the end in mind, 2024, 2025 bull run, if you're keeping that in mind, it's definitely time to start DCAing now. It just is. But I mean, alts could drop another, 40%, no problem. It's completely possible. I mean, if Bitcoin were to fall, let's just say it were to fall and do what, we're all kind of in the back of our minds, we're all a little worried about. If it were to fall to a 14K, which makes a lot of sense, that's a pretty significant drop. That's 25% drop. So what alts are probably going to drop twice as much, maybe, right? So, a lot of indicators state that Ethereum is on its way down to 1,000, maybe like 1,050-ish, 1,060, maybe as low as 1,040. That's still a long, long way from here. So that is concerning, but if you believe in crypto long term, that's going to be an amazing time to pick up a bunch of Ethereum, right? $1,000 Ethereum, that sounds pretty good to me, especially when it would not surprise me at all. And in 2025, sometimes we see a 15K Ethereum. Why 15K? Because it's 3x the previous all-time high. And if you look at some of the previous runs, 3xing is something that Ethereum has done many times. What else? What else did I want to cover? I'm trying to make this video not too long, but I think we're good on time so far. We've talked a lot about some of the DeFi projects that we love, and Wine has done some really cool things. It got down to $11, and now it's starting to build up. And then now, last time I checked, it was 25. Looks like it's giving back some gains. It's now down at 20. But the problem here is the volume, only 11K. So these projects are not seeing the liquidity that they need. But it is nice to see that maybe, just maybe, Wine found a bottom. And it's a super strong community, so we'll see what happens there. But I did want to call out the fact that it's doing some things there. And then MDB keeps retracing. Some of this was expected. I wasn't expecting so much retracement, but MDB, which was up to 1.8 cents, is now down to 1.2 cents. So hopefully it kind of stops retracing here, because if not, then the next. I mean, it's hard. It's almost impossible to apply TA, but hopefully it stops retracing so much, because I don't want to see a bunch of people then worry that MDB is going to drop even further. But applying TA, traditional TA to an asset, such a young asset, such a small asset, in a liquid doesn't really make sense. Luncy, so yeah, Luna Classic. I have an open short right now with it. Yeah, I mean it's one of those things where if you zoom out, it's still looking like it wants to keep heading. Oh, that looks awful. It wants to keep kind of retracing back to, I think eventually it will get back to 18,000 and change. I just see that that's where it was going before the big news about it, the burn on Binance happening, but this burn on Binance really doesn't do much anytime soon. Even with the volume they had last week, they're still looking at it maybe affecting the price action as early as like 5 to 7 years. So it's just kind of not going to do much. So I think as people kind of start really figuring that out, I think we're going to start heading closer that way. But it's not looking bad as far as the chart. But yeah, as far as the negative momentum, the positive momentum still weighing little by little, and the volume was dropping pretty significantly, and out of nowhere, the volume did start rising again a couple days ago. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it's actually done fairly well the last 3 days if you think about it. But and it did kind of stop this downtrend right there. But if we were to look at this from like a wave perspective, you got one wave, two. Let's see, like this could be like right here, all the way up here, A, B, C, D, and now it's starting another A. So we'll see how far that could go up, if it goes up at all. But again, I just feel like this is just a good spot to short anytime you see pumps. So if we were to look at, like, for example, the 2 hour, anytime you see these big old wicks right here, like that, especially after it looks like a wave just completed. That's just been given time after time after time. Like all these wicks you see, all these big wicks, just assume I took advantage of each of these. And I got in at this one as well. And I'm still in this one. So yeah, we will see what happens with Luna Classic. But again, the big risk with shorting this asset is if they do announce some kind of big listing, like the relisting with Coinbase, and you're in the middle of a short, you're going to get stopped out, no doubt, because that thing's going to skyrocket in literally minutes. What else, guys? So I talked about Near, how I started DCAing into Near. So let's look at Near, see how it's been doing. I should have had it up on my on TradingView, but I didn't. There we go. So Near, I just wanted to call out the fact that its all-time highs are around $20. So it's at a significant lower price, but it hasn't gotten crushed as much as some of these other assets, right? So it's trading at $3.50. So that's about what, its market cap has, let's see how much its market cap has decreased. So it was at 12 billion. Now we're at, so it's decreased about 75%. So it hasn't gotten hit as high as some of these others that are closer to 85, 90%. So that is something to call out, but the fact that it's been that strong, it's been able to maintain. So it would not surprise me at all, though. It would not surprise me at all to see Near go down to maybe like $2. At some point, this bear market continues and keeps crushing alts. $2 Near, and I'll just scoop up a bunch more Near there if I have to. So it kind of sucks that I've been buying some at 350, 340, but if that's the case, that's the case. BNB, of course, they had that huge scare with that guy that was able to mint BNB out of thin air, and then they were able to kind of pause the chain. I know that upset a lot of the purists, but I see why they did it. And BNB was able to maintain okay after that. So it did. You can see right here. Let's see. I'm guessing this big drop right here was when that happened, and it's been able to maintain pretty well after that. So again, BNB long term, love this asset. It's actually something I should be DCAing right now, but I probably need to start DCAing BNB because it is an asset that I want to hold a ton of during the next bull run. What else did I want to cover? We already talked about XLM. So there's Chili's that I wanted to talk about. There it is. So it has outperformed the market the last few weeks just due to the fact that it has some partnerships with the World Cup. So it's already given back actually a lot more of the gains than I thought. So my bad. I thought it was already up there. So last time I had checked, it was around 24 cents or something like that. And it looks like it's already given back a lot of those gains, about almost 15%. And then before that, earlier in the month, it had hit almost up to 30. But again, I do think that Chili's is one of those assets that I think maybe went up a little too much due to the excitement about its partnerships with the World Cup. So this is actually one that I'm going to be looking at shorting once the World Cup starts. I think that this will be a good asset to start shorting. I should have had it in trading view, my bad, but I was charting it earlier in the week and it just looked like it's probably going to go and get back a lot of those gains at some point. And here it is. Actually, you can see it here. You can see it pretty obvious on trading view, but around 15 cents, I think is where this asset's going to head down to, assuming that the bear market continues and we don't see anything that's too surprising. But yes, I guess I do want to end the episode with talking about Powell. That's why I had him on the thumbnail. Again, nothing changes. There was a lot of hopium out there that there was going to be some kind of pivot sometime soon, and I just don't see, from everything that he's stating, I don't see any kind of pivot happening at all. Maybe a pause at some point if the markets are breaking too much, but from everything that he's saying, his colleagues are saying, from some of the different, I guess, banks or from different states or different parts of the country, it's all the verbiage is very, very hawkish. So I don't expect a pivot anytime soon. I don't expect a pause anytime in probably November, December. But then we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a fluid situation. But at the end of the day, you don't want to fight the Fed when trading. And the Fed's basically stating that they want to inflict more pain into the markets, into the economy to fight the big monster that is inflation. So we don't want hyperinflation in this country. We really, really don't. And if we have to break some things to keep the hyperinflation from happening, I think that that's the best course of action. Nothing's great. It's not neither route A or route B is a fun one, but we are where we are, and something needs to be done. So that's where we stand there. So don't fight the Fed. We'll just end it there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.